From now on, you sit here by yourself. I hate my life. This kid was 10 years old, the smartest kid in class. He aced every test, every assignment, but he was also super funny. Everybody loved him. And you see, the classrooms were set up like this. Round tables, and each table had like 5 people at it. Well, in this class, everybody wanted this kid at their table because he was just such a good time. That is until one day, the teacher deemed him too distracting. She pulled him away from his 5 friends and made him sit in a desk facing the wall at the back of the room. Sit down. And he was the only one back there. The rest of the class were sitting in their groups. Group projects, he worked alone. He wasn't allowed to talk. Week after week, he kept thinking, surely I'll be moved back to my table soon. But the teacher never let him. And slowly, he could feel the gap building. His friends got closer with each other and farther from him. That desk in the corner became his life. For 10 months. A punishment that was supposed to last a week lasted for 10 months. And that is not fair. Picture this, first day of high school, a new teacher walks in. Cool-looking guy with the mustache. He starts roll call. Billy, here. Carl, I have milk in my backpack. Steven, here. You must be the kid that still sleeps in that blue race car bed, huh? What? The kid was confused because he actually did sleep in a blue race car bed. So he started thinking that this guy's a total creep. But he forgot about him. Maybe it was a lucky guess. Well, as days go on, there were more and more things this teacher was saying. How's Rufus, Steven? Has he still got that stomach infection? How did you know that? This reminds me of when your mom was talking about the cat and when he ate the light bulb. Hey, Steven, how was that Twinkie last night? I know you snuck one from the cabinet. Was it 2 a.m.? 2 a.m. Twinkie? Kid's absolutely freaked out. The next day he's in class, scared of what he's gonna say today, when all of a sudden, his dad comes out. Hey, how we doing? Johnny. Steven, we got you. Yeah, we got you, son. What? Turns out this kid's dad and the new teacher go to the same gym, and one day they got to talking, and the dad's like, oh, you're starting at Gilchrist teaching this year, huh? Yeah, 5th grade. Oh, my son's in 5th grade. Oh, nice. What's his name? His name's Steven. He's in your class? I have a great idea. It was all an elaborate prank. Kid was definitely relieved, but he's not too happy that now all of his classmates know that he still sleeps in a blue race car bed. I'm gonna snap. This teacher snapped. Everyone used to think she was a good teacher. She was strict, but she was fair. Well, she taught chemistry, and safety goggles during labs were a requirement, and she pushed this. Safety goggles on, please. And sometimes she would have to remind people, Kyle, goggles on. This is your first warning. Well, there was this one kid in class who was kind of all over the place. He never wanted to wear the goggles, or he would take them off mid-class. Kyle, first warning, but I can't see with them on. He put it back on a couple minutes later. Kyle, second warning. They're giving me a headache. And after that, he takes them off again. Well, this was the teacher's last straw. You think I'm kidding? Maybe. She did not like that, so she walked over to him. She grabs the beaker of chemicals they were mixing, and she throws it right in his face. He screams. He was shocked. He couldn't believe the teacher just did this. Now, the chemicals in there were not really chemicals. They were harmless. It was just like vinegar and something else. But that didn't matter. She was fired by the end of the week. No goodbye, no send-off, just the reputation of a teacher that threw chemicals in a student's face. Now, that student was a piece of work, but, you really shouldn't be doing that. At this one elementary school, all the teachers would split their classes into 2 groups, penguins and rats. And the teachers would use these groups for stuff like project, just to organize the students. All right, class, penguins line up here, rats line up here. But here's the thing, a rivalry between the penguins and the rats of the school began to grow, big time. Penguins and rats started not sitting by each other at lunch. They would steal from each other. They stopped being friends with people because of this. Hey, Johnny. What? I hear you were a rat. Shut your mouth, penguin freak. That's it. Fistfights, brawls at recess, pushing kids off the monkey bars. It was a full-blown war between these 2 groups. It was absolutely out of control. And the school staff didn't know what to do, so they just canceled recess. And they said, no more groups, no more penguins, no more rats. This is done. Eventually, it all kind of stopped. There were moments where kids tried to start new groups. Tigers, snakes, bears, but nothing stuck. One kid tried to bring it back a year later. He was passing flyers around the school that just said, "Penguins rise again." But he got suspended for inciting violence, and nobody tried that ever again. That's absolutely insane. So there was this one teacher, and he lost his frickin' mind. At this one school, every single spring, there was this thing called Wildlife Week. For one whole week, classes would go outside the school and go into the woods, and they would just explore, learning about wildlife and creatures and stuff like that. It was everyone's favorite week. But this one teacher, older, gray hair, mid-50s, he decided that the kids in his class had to pay a wildlife tax. For this year, kids, you have to pay me if you want to participate in Wildlife Week. The students are sitting there stunned, and one kid was just like, "I ain't paying for that, old man. There will be consequences if you don't cooperate. Prove it." Well, that made this teacher incredibly mad, and he snaps. He walks 3 steps towards this kid and just punches him right in the face. The kid's knocked out cold. The teacher's looking around like, "Oh my god, what did I just do?" School security runs in because they heard all the ruckus. They dragged this guy out of the school. He was fired. He went to jail for a little bit, and yeah, that's it. But hey, that's crazy. It was the day after Halloween. This one teacher had this stupid rule: no candy in my class. If she caught you eating candy, she would take it, search your bag, and never give it back. Well, kids were fed up, and one kid decided to go out in flames. A couple days later, this kid walks into the class holding his pillowcase full of Halloween candy. "Hey, I said no candy. Give me that." "Never." He then took the bag and he dumped it all over the classroom floor. It was spread out everywhere. "Everybody, feast!" The whole class dove in, grabbing handfuls, shoving candy in their mouths. The teacher was standing there horrified. It was complete and utter chaos, but boy, was it awesome. The principal came eventually. "Everybody, settle down!" And sure, every single one of those students got a detention, but they all agreed that it was completely worth it. It started with one kid named Ty. "That's me, I'm Ty." One day, he whispered to a bunch of people, "Tomorrow, last period, 15 minutes before the bell rings, left shoe, desk, don't speak." And that message spread and spread and spread. Next day, last period, 1:45 p.m. The teacher's mid-lesson when it happens. At 1:45 p.m., nearly every student in every classroom took their left shoe off, put it on their desk, looked forward, and stayed silent for the rest of class. And that's when milk... Guys, nobody's moving, nobody's talking. And like I said, around the school, other rooms are doing it too. Dozens of kids sitting perfectly still, left shoe on the desk, staring dead ahead like they're in some sort of ritual. And for those teachers, that 15 minutes must have felt like 3 hours. They didn't know what was going on. Okay, very funny, guys, okay. Answer me! But nobody broke character. When the 15 minutes was up and the bell finally rang, instant reset. Shoes back on, backpack zipped, they stand up and then leave the classroom. Can somebody please tell me what that was? Don't worry about it. And once all the kids left school that day, there was just one thing remaining. Faint shoe prints on every single desk, and the teachers still confused. This is getting out of hand. Before first period, everything was fine. But the second first period was over, it happened. Bro, no way. Every school water fountain was filled with salsa. Not one, not two, every single water fountain in the building. And here's the frickin' thing. Written on the wall above the water fountain in very thick Sharpie was 6-7. And obviously, as you can imagine, everybody went crazy. Yo, whoever did this was insane. Yo, but what does it mean? Teachers are scrambling, the students are losing, and the custodians are working extra hard to clean this up. And by the end of second period, everything is clean. Well, the school's like, we need to figure out who did this. So after school that day, they checked the cameras. A hooded kid wearing a face mask. He moves quick. He's got tons of jars of salsa in his backpack, and he's just dumping them in every single water fountain and scooting away. Then he slips into the theater hallway, the one with no cameras, and he vanishes. They don't see him again. Nobody gets identified. Nobody confesses. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's claiming it. And that's when it starts. Kids begin showing up to school with jars of salsa in their backpacks, and every single salsa jar has 6-7 written on the lid. Before you know it, it's a full-blown culture. Who's got the rare stuff that nobody's seen before? Yo, yours looks different. Yeah, my uncle sent it to me from Mexico City. People are trading, people are hoarding jars in their lockers. The school eventually tries to ban salsa. I can't believe I'm saying this, but salsa jars are banned. But that didn't stop anybody. People kept bringing their 6-7 salsa jars to school. Apparently, it has now calmed down a little bit, but I guess the school is still scrambling to stop all of this madness. That is insane.